Bob, you get to lead off today.
Okay,
All right, Bob, you get to lead off today.
I'm even not mute, so that's good. Coach, about recruiting, how are things going with the new staff as opposed to the way, how big of a difference is it now as opposed to before?
It's I mean it's rolling. Like everybody's working, everybody's grinding. It's an amazing feeling to see how much work goes on every day as far as recruiting goes.
What about the reception, Coach, from coaches, from kids? I mean, parents, kind of how people reacting to you guys? How much, kind of what's that conversation like with you guys?
It's been phenomenal. I mean, a lot of times it just takes a little bit of grooming to get things right, and I think the staff has been doing a great job of that. Just getting those relationships going again. I don't think it was that people were negative about Illinois before. It was just more of cultivating those relationships and being able to build on them. And I think Coach B, first off, as a leader, he helps us do that. And then the coaching staff here, everybody's working their tail off to keep those things going.
The last thing I've got is, when will you know the recruiting part is like really positive, or do you feel like that now? I mean, are you already there, or is that something down the road?
I think you can kind of tell now that it's going in the right direction. You see guys, a lot more attention coming to the program as far as the recruits go. But we'll tell in December. We'll see what the class turn out.
Yeah, thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
Hey, Cory, good to see you. Following up on Bob's question, just sticking with the recruiting front, you've been around this program a little longer than the other coaches who are here right now. Can you tell us a little bit about the effect that Pat Embleton and guys like that who have been around this program for a while as well have had on recruiting, and just how important those guys are to this mission and what you've seen from them, I guess, behind the scenes?
Guys like Pat are invaluable because there's so many things that they can do. Like, he's not just the things that you guys see of just like helping find recruits and things like that. Like, Pat understands how to get guys in school. He understands what needs to be done. He understands who needs to be talked to. The things that he can do is not very many guys that understand or know what happens at the University of Illinois as far as academics and being able to get a guy in the school and knowing all the things that it takes to get a guy in school. So just having a guy like Pat and his staff around here, that's one of those things that you can't put a price on.
I know you can't discuss specific recruits at all, but just to see in-state recruiting stuff going as well as it has. I know that push has been going on ever since Brett got here, and to see some guys committing to the program from further down in state in areas that maybe haven't been, as fertile in the past. How nice is that to see as a coach here?
Oh, that's great. I mean, just to see guys jumping in the boat no matter where they're from this early is it's one of those things that you hadn't seen very often since I've been here. So just see guys jumping in and understanding that this place is not the same place it's been in the past. That's a great feeling. Now we just got to keep the momentum going.
Thank you, Cory.
No doubt.
Hey, Cory, hope you're well, man. I think it's been 3 years now that you've been a college assistant coach. How have you grown as an on-field coach? Because I know you're not just a recruiter, right? Like you're assistant. How have you grown in that role?
I'd say the biggest thing is, to be honest with you, I think I've probably learned more in this last couple of months with Coach B than I have in the last 3 years. That's probably funny to say, but just as far as being a coach, I mean, Coach B does some phenomenal things with football 101. And it sounds crazy, like it's just for the players, but I think I've probably learned maybe more than them. But also just learning just how to be a great coach and learning how to focus in on the right things, get my guys going in the right direction. This is my first year with the running backs, but I mean, I've coached every position on the field as a high school coach. And now I'm just learning how to do more of the small things, getting all the small things done with my guys, getting my guys, instead of looking at big picture, now I'm looking at the small things, making sure my guys in the right place, lined up, attacking the huddle. We ain't doing all the right things now. So that's kind of where I am right now.
Yeah, if you could have told yourself 3 years ago, like some advice about the difference of college to high school, what would you tell yourself?
Be patient. It's a lot of things I tell my players: be patient. Take your time. Focus. I mean, kind of you can narrow your scope a little bit, and then just continue to let it grow on its own. Just basically be patient, and then things will work out.
What are some of those things that you've learned from football 101? I mean, you know a lot of football, Cory. So I'm wondering, like, what do you even pick up in those?
Hey, everything from I'm gonna go too far in depth, but everything from just how you look at first and second down, like it's a lot of those things that it's not just playing the down, playing whatever downs out there, but what happens in those downs. Looking at football a lot deeper than just saying it's 1st and 10, but what's the tendencies that happen in 1st and 10, things like that, things that happen in second down. Like just the small nuances of football that coach will take you through that'll kind of blow your mind a little bit. I think he's done that with me. Like, I mean, I'm serious. I'm in the full team meetings and I'm taking notes like I'm playing. So, I mean, I can go back and look at my notes. It's so many different things that I've picked up since I've been here.
Thanks, Cory.
Hey, Cory, you talked about the balance that you guys are going to have at running back with, multiple options, all those guys in the spring game having pretty strong performances. What was maybe your favorite thing you saw from that group, the Chases and Reggie, and maybe, the thing that didn't make you too happy that you really want to kind of see improved, heading into the fall?
Consistency is one of those things that kind of make me happy. Starting to see the guys, they're starting to get it a little bit. Starting to understand that we don't have to have a home run all the time. I think that's what we finally starting to get that makes me happy. Things that's going always kind of rub me the wrong way a little bit is how we handle the ball. Like that's going to be huge for us. Sometimes we have a little tendency to get loose with it, and if you run out of bounds, I'm gonna go crazy. So those are a couple small things.
Thanks, Cory.
Ask Chase about that one.
And Coach, I wanted to ask about specifically about Reggie Love in the spring game. This is kind of the first chance he's had. He had a few carries last fall, but the first chance to really get out there and get some runs, 9 carries, 63 yards. You've coached him for such a long time. What was that like for you to have that moment with him as his position coach?
It always feels good to see guys have success, but like to see Reggie works his tail off, and he knows it's going to be probably harder on him than anybody else in the room because I've seen him so long. But I mean, he comes every day, works his tail off. It's good to see him have a little roll a little bit, but I mean, we just scratching the surface right now, and he got a lot more work to do to get where he want to be.
I also have a question about St. Louis recruiting. I mean, as well as anyone how cyclical it is down there. It seems to move from school to school. There's 6 Division I guys at CBC, and then the next year there's 7 guys at Trinity, and the next year there's 5 guys at DeSmet. It seems to move from school to school. How do you approach that? Knowing a lot of those coaches and knowing the scene around there, how do you approach that kind of unique thing to St. Louis recruiting?
I think it's one of those things that it's gonna sound like it's saying the same thing, but it's really about the relationships. Like you can't just have relationships in one place. If you got relationships in one place in St. Louis, you're dead in recruiting. You gotta, what I'm saying, you gotta be able to, you gotta know people and know where the guys are. For us, I mean, like I said, with me being here and guys like Terry Hawthorne, I mean, we can cover that state pretty much with guys that we have relationships with. We're gonna be able to do a lot of different things now that we got some different measures going on around.
Good, thanks.
Hey, Cory, hope you're doing well. I know a year ago, like we were trying to figure out how this world was going to be shaped by dealing everything via Zoom, but how different was it? It's different in the sense that like you're back in person to have those guys in person for spring. How much more value do you get out of that? Might be a stupid question, but versus just trying to find your way through it on Zoom.
Really, that's a phenomenal question. I think really having them close to you where you can touch them, and like you in that close physical area where everybody's paying attention, everybody's watching. Like for me, I'm a guy that like I want to be able to work with you. I want to be able to, in my meetings, it's hard for me to just sit and talk at people. I don't like talking at a screen. I want to see how the vibe is in the room. So for that, like my room, the vibe's so great, you can feel it when you walk in the room, the energy. That's so much different than being on Zoom. Because some guys, you don't know how guys learn when you're on Zoom. When you're in person, you kind of figure out how they learn. They learn best from being on the board, or they learn best from being out on the field. We got to go walk through those type of things right there. Those are invaluable things that you can't get through Zoom.
I think Aaron Henry talked about, like in his room, Devin Witherspoon is kind of like the vibe setter a little bit. Do you have a vibe setter in the running back room?
I think probably Reggie and Chase Brown, probably. Both of those guys, they they walk in the room is upbeat every day. Like and if somebody else is down, they gonna bring them with them. Like both of those guys kind of come in. Chase Hayden's my quiet guy, but he's like so smart and attentive. He's gonna be paying attention to everything. He hang on to every word. So those guys, it's kind of like a little group. They all sit real close to each other. So it's a nice little vibe going.
And if I could get one more, what's the message or the goal for them now that spring is over and this kind of window between now and when summer workouts ramp back up? What do you tell them as they kind of go back to maybe their hometowns in some cases?
We're still competing right now. Like we compete in everything we do. We compete in the academics. We compete right now. You're going home, but you're still competing. I mean, you got to go home. You got to go make sure you're taking care of your body, make sure you're working out, make sure you're doing the things so you come back or you're not behind. We're going to compete out of love and not envy.
Thanks, Cory. Appreciate it.
Hey, Cory, I kind of wanted to ask on something Jeremy hit on. You said you've learned a lot more in the last 3 months. How much of that is based off just like the analytical use you hit on, like the first down, second down, and like team tendencies? How much of your advanced knowledge has become just because of the use of analytics within the program?
Those type of things, analytics, so those type of things, they always play a part. But when you're around Coach B, you kind of get things from him that you just don't see on film. Things that you just don't look at every day. And especially for myself, I can say that, especially I've been doing this for 3 years here now. A lot of things I had never even paid attention to, honestly. So it's just a lot of small things that little nuances that coaches do that he pick up on right away. And I might say right away, it might seem right away to me, but he's maybe studying it for a week before he bring it to me. But like it just seems like it's something he just grabbed, and now I'm just not. Why didn't I think of that?
You said there's some little things that you maybe haven't hit on in the past and that you're now more aware of. What are some of those things, and how much have they helped you as a coach?
Just paying attention to the small things, paying attention to like I say, down. I'm just gonna continue to use the down and distance thing. I don't want to go too far on a lot of stuff, but with the down and distance thing, just knowing what you're gonna get, like knowing what you should be getting from the other side, from the defense, knowing what their tendencies are, knowing like if it's 3rd and 4, like what we have to do, what needs to be done, what kind of down it is, like those type of things. I know and not only for us, but like everybody on the field has to know it. Like Coach B, he's big on that. He's big on not just the coaches knowing it, but the players. Everybody should be thinking the same thing all the time, and that's been huge for me.
Hey, Cory, I just had one quick follow-up. Obviously, the opportunity Lovey gave you was life-changing for you and your family. What is the opportunity that Brett's given you to stay on? Like, what has that meant to you?
I mean, that's a good question. I think it's really more like, that's almost an emotional question, because he kind of still taking a chance on me. He kind of took a chance on me without knowing me. And you got to think, like, Coach B probably could have got anybody to take this job. He could have called 100 other dudes. I mean, so it's one of those things for me. Like I'm here, Jeremy, you know me. I'm here. I'm gonna go do what I gotta do. I'm gonna go grind my butt off. I'm gonna make him proud that he did the right thing. Make him know that he did the right thing on the field and off the field. Like you said, I do want to be known as more than just a recruiter, as a good coach. But Coach B told me something when I first got this job, and I ain't gonna spit it out, but like I understand what I need to do.
You're not going to share it?
No, I'm not gonna share that right now.
All right. Thanks, Cory.
All good? Anything else?
All right, yo.